I was talking to someone this afternoon who said to me, Dawn, I have no idea what you do. You talk about this business toolkit and that you're seeing clients, but I can't work out what it is you do on a daily basis. And there's someone that knows me really well. And I thought, my goodness, if they don't know what I do you? And that made me question whether my marketing messages were coming out okay, although obviously I do have clients, so maybe they're okay. But I thought, I'll give you a bit of an insight into my week, and then maybe you can see a little bit about what it is I do, the kind of clients I work with, and potentially you might say, that's just for me, or you might know somebody that might kind of like to work with me and think that I'm the style of the work that I do as a business advisor is suitable to them. So just a little bit of a précis, not too much in depth, but so I began the week with somebody who near the beginning of COVID actually was facing redundancy, and so during the whole of the lockdown period we started looking at their business idea, whether it was viable, what their 3-year plan was going to be. We crunched the figures, we looked at the market, we identified sort of what the pricing strategy was going to be, and we started to build together what can only be called a business plan, but I don't like using those awful paper-driven processes. I like to work sort of organically with my clients, looking at the whole of where they want to be and what they're trying to achieve from their business and making sure the business fits with them. So this week, they've been in business for about 6 weeks and we had a long chat. How's it all going? How's that 6 weeks been? Are you on track? What did you find were the areas of overwhelm? What were the things that you concentrated your energy and what's needing to be done? And it was very much an accountability exercise. It was only an hour. We're going to be doing a quarterly review in about another 6 weeks. And it was just to help them, encourage them. They're doing really well. They're doing much better than they thought, which is always a really good starting point, because it is scary stepping out into the unknown, out of your comfort zone when you've had a regular salary and you're going to get paid for your holidays and you're sick and you know everything about it. And then to be in the middle of COVID and be trying to start a business is a really difficult time. But a little bit of a tip, if you can start a business and get it established during a recession, then actually your business has got the potential to grow exponentially when the country starts to find its feet again. So, if you're thinking and you're a bit wobbly, should I start a business? Well, let's have a chat. So yes, that was what I did at the beginning of the week, and obviously I've had to follow that up with fact sheets and a to-do list for the client, and then also my report to say, this is the first quarterly review that we're going to be looking at. We'll be looking at the 3 months that have gone and looking at the next 3 months and trying to make sure that it's not just cerebral, it's just pie in the sky, but we're actually planning in all areas of your business to help it to look at growth and any potential barriers that you might face. So that's what we did. And then the following day I saw a client who has been in business 2 years. So we're a lot further along the line. We've got some great figures we can look back on. We've got marketing strategies and campaigns that we can see have worked and what hasn't. We've looked at where they've spent their money in terms of marketing, as well as where the profit is coming from, and looking at working smarter and not harder. So that's all about ensuring that my client is spending their energy on marketing activities and in working with their current database. I remember speaking to someone about 4 years ago who I was working with. We'd done a business plan, we'd done a marketing plan, and they said to me one of the main light bulb moments that they had with me was that they hadn't looked at their CRM, they hadn't looked at their database, and by going back to all of their customers, they managed to increase their revenue by 40% because of the fact that they just went and re-engaged. And re-engagement and keeping those leads warm, keeping people happy is really important. So anyway, this client's been in business 2 years, so we did a look at the last year, and obviously that's been a really interesting exercise in terms of how they manage that. They've been in business a year and then COVID hit, and then they've had to deal with all of this in their second year of trading, when most businesses are starting to see the spiral of concern disappear because they're starting to grow. We'd done all the viability studies right at the beginning, so we knew it was viable, but nobody could have fathom that this was going to happen. But no, they're still in business, they're doing well, they're motivated, although of course I'm there to chivvy them along and support them and to encourage them and to ensure that they remember where they've been and where they've come from and how well they're doing, because it is testing times for the most experienced business owner. So to be in year 2 and still here and still doing well and growing is just incredible. So yes, we looked at cash flow, we looked at sustainability, and I did what I call a mini business review, which is looking at all aspects of the business and challenging all of the things that they've written about the last quarter and what they're looking to do in the next quarter, and making sure that they're on track. Then I had a day of admin. When I was looking at my own business and thinking, you know, this is what I'm looking to do. I do follow my own set of standards, and so I was, okay, this is my marketing day. We've already decided to do this Starter for 10, so we launched Starter for 10, myself and Sarah, my administrator, on Wednesday, and it was all about, you know, making sure the process was smooth and people could book on it, because I'm really aware that so many people are kind of feeling overwhelmed at the moment and are feeling that they don't know where to turn and they're not quite sure what to do first, and so I've just done a Starter for 10. It's £10 on the 10th, and I thought, you know what I want to get across is there's 10 things that you could do, and that's what it's about. That's what that course is about. It's 10 little things, 10 guides that you could say, do you know what, I could do this, and I get everybody at the end of the hour to commit to doing one thing from that list. And you know, if people wanted to continue with me with accountability, they can, or they can just take that away as support that they've got for a tenner. So I thought, you know, I want to make it accessible during lockdown. Everybody's going to be struggling at what their priorities are and what they're going to do, and it's a mix of both practical things from the courses I run, as well as some sort of mind looking at how your mind works in these situations as well. So then I did some, I wrote the elements of that ready for Tuesday, and then put some my time into some CPD during the week as well, because I'm looking at something called transactional analysis and the law of attraction, because I very much believe that whatever we put out there, we attract back. And if we're a positive person and we're putting out positive messages, we receive positive messages back, and those clients and those customers who enjoy, we light up their lives, as it were. Sorry, I knocked the camera there. We light up their lives. They want to work with us because they can see the energy and the excitement that's exuding from us. So that's something that I'm doing on my CPD. Certainly gave me a bit of a kick and made me feel more positive myself. So it works. And then finally, at the end of this week, I've been working with someone who's been in business for 20 years and has had to have some structural changes to the business in terms of the way that the management of the business was being run. And actually, you know, obviously I keep my information confidential, but you know, this was a partnership relationship, which is now no longer a partnership, and that's been devolved, and all of that. I've been working with this client for quite a long time now to help them to work through the aspects of that business change and to come through. But obviously there's a sense of loss, so we were working through, you know, the things that are great and the things they've lost and the way they thought the business was going to be and what we're going to be doing now. And in some ways it's almost like going back to square one with my startup. You know, well, now the business is a totally different model. It's you at the helm, you can do what you want with it. What are you going to do? How exciting. And so we went back to the drawing board and we started looking at the strategy. A lot of work to do there. But one of the things that I found with all my clients this week, and I mean every single one of them, there's been a feeling of overwhelm for one reason or another. Excuse me. That's not COVID. I've had a COVID test. And one of the things that I have found is that it's about gaining clarity, and clarity comes from talking to people. But your family will have a view. They'll be wanting to support you. They may not be honest with you. Your bank manager's coming from a financial perspective, but might not have the vision for what you want to do. And so it's about helping my clients to work through the perceived barriers, look at the potential for growth in their businesses, look at what's working and what isn't, and being really honest about it, and stripping away all the you know, the rubbish that people think, stopping those self-sabotaging behaviours, which says, I can't do it, I don't feel I'm good enough, which we all experience, and then looking, okay, so how are you going to get through that? What are we going to do? And some of the conversation's been around cash flow, some of it's been about the government initiatives, about the bounce back loans, about the subsidies, about grants, as well as looking at things like planning and accountability, and having a really focused objective. It was interesting, actually, during the week I had a conversation on the phone with somebody who's being made redundant and is looking to purchase another business, and they came to me because they'd watched one of my videos and they said, you look like you know what you're talking about, how can you help? So in the end, we broke it all down to what was it they were wanting, how much were they wanting to invest, what percentage share were they going to have, and then I gave them quite some strong advice and gave them a fact sheet on how to value a business, talked to them about actually not committing to that business until they know that not only is it financially sound, but it's got growth potential, that it can support both the person that's running it now and them and any staff they've got, and what their exit strategy is in the long term. Because, you know, when you're in your early 50s and you're looking to invest in a business, it might sound like a great idea because it's established, but, you know, it is a tough time at the moment. So you need to know that that business is going to sustain you financially and the person who is already running it. So I've sent them fact sheets, as I said, on that. On valuing the business. We're looking at the 3-year strategy yet again and the exit, and looking at, you know, the overheads and how that business is going to sustain them both and their salaries. And then who's got what job roles and how to split it and the legalities of it. Because in my time as a business advisor, I have seen so much. I've seen people go bankrupt. I've seen people start up businesses without a clue and not having any of the legalities in place, none of the, you know, a cafe without a basic food hygiene certificate, and people who haven't got insurance. I've seen people, you know, go through the motions and then go bankrupt, as I said. I've seen people who've gone into business with their friend and the friend hasn't pulled their weight, and it's wrecked the friendship and it's wrecked the business. And so, yes, I'm not coming from a place of being, you know, wanting to throw water on ideas. In fact, anyone who works with me knows I'm forever lighting the fire, and I'm saying, go for it and let me help you, and let's this has got legs, or it hasn't, but how can you do it differently so you can make it work? So I'm all about that, but also it's also about the reality. It's also about being honest and saying, you know, this isn't a good business to invest in, or this isn't worth the effort in what. And also, you know, if you don't have all these in place, you might be best of friends now. And as I say, I've seen it happen. People have been best of friends, but they've not done the legal bit because they're mates. It's a bit, you know, well, you know, we'll work it out, we've always got on. Well, it doesn't always work like that in business. Sometimes it does. But actually, if you start off on the right footing with everything tied up legally, and you know whose job is what, who's doing what they're going to get paid, what their commitment is, then it does kind of halt the progress of anything spiraling into that negative state. And as I say, having worked with so many people over the years, I've seen that again and again. People are frightened to put in place the right structure, and then it's that very thing that can undermine a business. So that's what I've done this week. Startup, recently established, 2 years, and somebody that's been in business 20 years, plus talking about redundancies and setting up businesses, buying businesses. I've looked at grants, I've looked at the government schemes, I've looked at cash flow, business planning, all those sort of things, as well as dealing with all the whole self-sabotaging behaviours and helping people to believe in their ability. I'm totally an advocate of believing that each of us is different and we've got something different to bring to the table. And for every business advisor that's out there that does things their way, I'm doing it my way. And I might sound stuffy because all the stuff I'm talking about is very practical, but actually I do it in a light and accessible way, not using jargon, using realistic tools and helping people to grow their businesses and sustain themselves and their lifestyle and their incomes and their families. And that's what I'm about. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight. If you're interested in any of that, then get in touch. And as I say, I'm really excited about the Starter for 10 course on Tuesday. If nothing else, book onto that. tenner. You've got nothing to lose. You're going to get 10 tips from me on, you know, taking your business through this COVID time and what things you could be looking at and helping you to focus a little bit. But if you want that one-to-one help, then get in touch and I'd love to hear from you. But anyway, so hopefully you know who you are who asked me the question when you said, what is it you do, Dawn? Hopefully that's answered your question. If you've still got questions, I'm going to have to come back and do another video. So anyone got any questions, do put them to me and I will do my best to answer them. And my main aim is to try and excite people about the potential for their business, but be realistic and ultimately help people to run their businesses in a profitable and sustainable way that's going to give them the quality of life they deserve. Thanks very much for watching.